Hey everyone, welcome back to Rambo Travels. So back at the end of April of this year, we took a 2-week trip down to Mexico, and we've been really wanting to share some of the do's and don'ts with you guys that we learned.
All right, guys, we're super happy to have you here with us today. We've been waiting months, pretty much since we started this channel. We've been looking forward to doing this video. It's the do's and don'ts of Mexico. We're going to be talking through a number of topics, and yeah, we're excited to have you here with us, and hopefully you enjoyed that intro, and let's get right into it.
All right, so first we'll start off with the UltraMar Ferry. We took this ferry, a total of 3 times. 2 times over to Isla Mujeres, there and back, and then 1 time over to Cozumel, there and back.
Yeah, so 3 round trips.
3 round trips, and so some of the tips that we wrote down is have some change to tip the performers. We were not aware that there were actually people who were singing and playing like the guitar or the acoustic guitar on the boats on the top. So yeah, that was really a nice touch.
It was really nice. They that was on the upper deck only. They also have a lower deck that doesn't have any of that, depending on what ferry you are. The ferry that had the upper deck entertainment was from Cancun over to Isla Mujeres. In Cozumel, it was a little bit different setup. They had entertainment in below in the middle. So I mean, you'll see the people setting up and performing. So if you want to be in that area, and you're not obligated to tip them, but it's just a nice gesture. It was fun entertainment. And there also are servers that walk around.
Yes, there was a couple gals that were walking around with some baskets, and they had some water bottles and little snacks and just drinks, actually seltzers, beers, seltzers, which I felt was a nice touch. And so we ended up getting a couple waters while we were on there. But yeah, that was a nice touch. Let's see here. Another thing we wrote down was buying online versus going to the booth getting.
This is our first experience with this. So I mean, all I had was like the online other YouTube videos that I had watched and Google TripAdvisor reviews and stuff about kind of the process. So I kind of knew that you could purchase online, and I'm like, hey, if you can purchase online, we might as well just book it in advance and not have to worry about it, which was actually a really good idea. It ended up being a really good idea, just because when you get to the booths there at the ferry terminals, they're trying to sell you a lot of other items and like excursions and whatnot, like when you go over to the islands. And we found that it was extremely expensive compared to what they were pricing it on the island itself. Yeah, it definitely was upcharge. I mean, and it's just, I guess, with any other service you're providing somebody, you're going to throw some kind of extra fee on top of that. We realized that when we rolled up and they asked us, hey, do you got your tickets? You looking to buy tickets? Hey, we already got them. Oh, hey, you're good to go. The line's right over here. And then they left us alone. But we watched as other people started showing up and saying that they didn't have tickets and they needed to buy them. They were talking about trying to get them taxis on the island and this, that, and the third, like she said. Trying to upsell them on everything.
So if you just want to miss all the hustle and bustle with them trying to sell you things, which Isaac and I just would prefer to not get involved with that. We highly recommend just purchasing your tickets online. There's a barcode that pops up and you just let them scan it and you get on and off.
Easy.
Very easy. Literally very easy. Another suggestion we would like to make to you guys is just arriving early. These ferries do book up and get very full. So if you guys are planning on going, midday, just arrive like 20-30 minutes before your ferry actually takes off, because again, the line just starts lining up.
Yeah, we definitely noticed, especially later in the afternoons. We got there pretty early to get over to the island to get filming in super fast, and then to also get back quicker, because we knew just based off of the reviews, again, online, you can read them yourself, that people were complaining about these super long lines and waits later towards the evening and stuff like that. So we just wanted to avoid all that. We didn't have any of that trouble because we planned ahead. So I think when you plan ahead, you save yourself some of the extra hassle.
Headache.
If you just want to go with the flow and just, you know, you're gonna have to deal with some of that. So it's just expect some longer lines during the more rush hours for sure.
Exactly. And just the last thing that we wanted to point out too is taking this ferry over to Isla Mujeres. Especially, there were 2 different stops, and we didn't realize that when we first went on the ferry. So there's one stop that's like more smack dab in downtown Cancun, the hotel zone, and then there's one up a little bit further, I think like a 5-minute ferry ride.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
So there's 2 different ports and 2 different stops that they stop at, terminals, and so just something to be mindful of. We thought we were doing something wrong at first. So.
Yeah, it was we just figured there wasn't really anything online that told you the route, so we figured we were just going to get picked up at, I think it was the Playa Caracol.
Yes, Caracol, yes.
Terminal, and we thought it was just a straight shot to Isla Mujeres. So when it started going sideways, we were like, wait, what are we? And we weren't the only ones. There was lots of other passengers kind of looking around and being like, what's the deal here too? Yes. But you know, once we had done the trip a few times and talked with some of the other people online, we were like, hey guys, this is completely normal. We're veterans. We know what we're doing here. It's gonna make this quick stop and we'll be right over to Isla. So, but it was actually a pretty nice deal because the view along that whole coast there was absolutely amazing, and we'll show some clips of that too. We saved some clips from that.
And it came out to about $63 total for 2 people round trip there and back. Yeah. So about $30 or so a person. So can get a little pricey.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you want to make the most out of that trip for sure. That's another reason why we kind of went at the first ride and then got back a little bit later in the afternoon. And I think it costs a little bit more to do it in person too, if I remember correctly. I don't think it was much more, maybe $5 more.
Yeah, I think there's like a charge fee.
Yeah, they have like some service fee that they hit you with if you get it there, which I mean, when you're paying $65 or $75, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, we went there and back like 3 times.
But that's if you're making multiple trips back and forth, that's when you want to start saving those dollars. Where you can.
This kind of takes us to the next topic, which was the golf carts. Going over to Isla Mujeres, renting the golf carts is pretty much the main resource of transportation over there. And so one of our first tips that we wanted to give you guys is really just try to do a little research prior to arriving to the island of Isla Mujeres. There are a lot of vendors that tend to overcharge if you go with the ones that are offering you golf carts right off of the ferry. So we really took some time and did some research, and we would highly recommend you guys doing the same. We'll also link the company that we went with in this video after we're done with it, just so you guys have an idea of kind of what we spent. And then the company we went with. Yeah,
they were pretty cool people. And the fact that we told them we were coming back multiple days, I think they were more willing to work with us on the cost. So if you are going to be out there for multiple days, maybe that's something you mentioned. Just throw out there, hey, if you want my business for the next few days, maybe you can work out a deal with me. And I think they're pretty straightforward on the pricing. You'll find most of the golf carts within the whole day rate is not too different from each other. They're maybe $5 to $20 difference in the cost of a daily charge, maybe a little bit more than that even. But some of the golf carts do go a little bit faster than the other. Some of them have brakes that work a little bit better than the other brakes. So you gotta kind of let them know what you're looking for. Hey man, I need good brakes. I need something that goes decently fast, right? You gotta let them know. Otherwise, they're just gonna put you in whatever and then send you on your way because they don't really care. There's no.
Well, and that kind of goes into the next tip, babe. Is just making sure that you're checking the brakes, the lights, the tires before leaving. Unfortunately, we were passing some of the places on the island, some of the vendors, and we were seeing that there were some technical issues with some of the golf carts. card. So again, we weren't trying to be stranded out on the island. So we made sure that everything worked appropriately before leaving. And if it doesn't, then you just let them know. Right then and there.
We tested it out pretty good in the town before we even got away, because I was like, I don't want to end up a mile away from this guy and then find out my brakes don't work or the emergency brake doesn't work. Because that was I think on one of the rides it was kind of an issue trying to get the emergency brake to stick, and we were on a pretty steep hill, so we ended up figuring it out and we were completely fine.
But just bring your driver's license. It is required when you guys are renting the golf carts there. And then also, again, just try to negotiate the rates kind of up front and confirm the return time, just so everyone's in the loop, everyone's understanding what the return time is, and what the rules are as well. So
I think I took some a quick video around the golf cart too, to make sure that they're pretty rough on those golf carts over there, so they're not nitpicky about the scrapes and scratches and stuff like that. But for peace of mind, it's just like, I think like renting a rental car, it's kind of the same kind of deal. You want to just be diligent about making sure you're taking care of yourself and your family.
This brings us to the next topic, which is just the pre-planned transportation. Isaac and I always get transportation to and from the airport. It's just the easiest way to do it. There's not a lot of Lyfts that will take you to from your resort to the airport. So you have to do a lot of pre-planned transportation.
So we can give you some links in the description too, for suggestions. But again, there's tons of videos online you can watch on YouTube about transportation from the Cancun airport. There's tons of people doing videos on that. We're not going to get too far into that, but plan ahead for sure. Don't be one of the people that gets stuck last minute trying to grab a taxi and paying double or quadruple what you should have paid to get to where you're supposed to be.
That's a really great point too. If you do wait, the prices tend to go way up because they can charge you since you're desperate to get a ride. So there's not a lot of wiggle room with negotiating prices with them if you're waiting last minute. So always book ahead of time. Also, make sure you're booking through a shared shuttle service and a private service. Make sure it's legitimate. There are a lot of people on those sites that are scamming people. So
running you around to different terminals and stuff, because the Cancun airport can get kind of crazy. But again, just do your research. It's all the information's there online. Google it, look through some Reddit posts, and you'll have all the information you need, I'm sure.
We also did find too that there were Lyfts and Ubers available in selected areas. I believe it's more in the Cancun area, which is just more of a touristy spot versus going over to Isla Mujeres or going over to Cozumel. The islands are strictly taxi based. So we did find that going over to Cozumel, they have one taxi company, and one taxi company and they all have flat rates. And so again, that was kind of a little different for us. It was like a flat rate of like 150 pesos to and from your hotel.
Didn't matter, one mile, 6 miles, 7 miles, you're going to pay the same price.
So always just bring cash on hand for the taxi services.
I did want to mention that we did on our trip, we ended up getting a private share ride from Cancun down to Playa del Carmen, so we could catch that ferry over to Cozumel. And his name was Mike. And Mike runs a transportation business down there, and he was very knowledgeable and super friendly, and we will leave his contact information in the description as well. Shout out to you, Mike. You're a great people, man.
Yes, he was great. You make lots of connections and meet lots of people down there, so it ended up just working out so well for us.
It was great. He's very affordable.
Very affordable. The next topic we had for you guys was just kind of a little point about vendors. Now, if you guys have gone to Las Vegas, if you've gone anywhere that's very touristy, where there's a lot of vendors standing outside their shops trying to sell you guys things, Playa del Carmen and Cozumel and really anywhere in Mexico is going to have that.
Any tourist spot in Mexico, not like Mexico City.
Yes.
When you're in the hustle bustle of all the locals just running back and forth from work, but when you're around cruise ships, cruise ports, any of that kind of stuff, you're gonna run into those vendors, and they are relentless. They don't understand in Spanish or English.
Yes. And again, they're trying to promote their company and make money, so we completely support that and understand it. But
100%.
But just know that does come with the location and place you're going. So
we suggest you have fun with it.
Just have fun with it. Negotiate with them. That's the best way.
Crack some jokes.
Me and Isaac, we just had fun with it. And again, sometimes, put your headphones on if you don't want to listen to people saying, trying to sell you guys things as well. So
they got me a few times. Hey, what does that tattoo say? And I'm like, wait, what? And I look above, tattoo shop. And these guys are they run through hundreds and hundreds of tourists a day, and they know all the lines to get you with. So
they do.
Have fun with it.
Yes. Okay, so the next topic, you guys, we wanted to go over was just the infrastructure of the sidewalks in Mexico in general. I think this really applied more towards Cancun, but I think this could apply to anywhere in Mexico.
I mean, we saw it down in Cabo a lot. In Puerto Vallarta. Yes.
And so the curbs are different heights.
We're not talking inches, we're talking feet.
and we can maybe share a clip when we are discussing this from one of our previous videos where it does show me stepping off one of the curbs. It's a good foot.
You gotta be very
you have to be very careful. And also, if you do have any mobility issues, accessibility, it's probably best to just call ahead of time. A lot of places don't have handicap accessibility, wheelchair accessibility, so
that's a good point.
Yes, and so it's really good if you are going with a wheelchair, a walker, cane, something to just help you with your mobility. It's probably best to just call ahead of time and see if they have that available.
Yeah, we saw. I mean, just going down some of the sidewalks, huge holes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking probably 3-4 feet down that could really mess you up if you're not paying attention. Or even walking around at night going to a restaurant that's kind of off the beaten path. That's what we like to do a lot. We don't always like to stay in all the touristy areas, so we like to go see the city a little bit, and that's something you gotta definitely watch out for. She laughs at me, but I brought ankle wraps just for the off chance that I twist my ankle, because growing up running track and field, I would twist my ankles all the time, and I don't play around with that stuff. You see people all the time in Mexico with wraps and braces on their feet because they fell and twisted something. Having too many margaritas at happy hour.
Right. And that's why also we just recommend and suggest bringing tennis shoes. If you're going to be walking around for an extended period of time, bring tennis shoes.
Just be comfortable.
Yes. Don't wear flip-flops. Now, if you're just kind of walking around and then going right back to your hotel or, your Airbnb, that's fine. Sandals are fine. But just bring something that supports your feet.
Exploring. Just bring tennis shoes. I know it doesn't look cute for the photos and all that stuff, but be practical. Save your feet.
Another recommendation we have for you guys is just always bring cash to Mexico. Again, just having cash accessible is a lot better than having your cards. And with
that, you can, a lot of the time, you can put your credit card onto your phone.
Sure.
And do the tap to pay. Keep your credit card in there. There's most places you go to in Mexico have tap to pay. If you really need to get something from like any main department, so they have Walmarts and other big department grocery stores and stuff down there that you can use that for. So that's a big suggestion, that you put your cards on your cell phone and stop bringing your cards down there. Leave them at home. Bring some extra cash with you.
Yes.
What we also did was grab some TSA locks off of Amazon.
Yes.
I'll make sure to link those too, and just slap them on your bag. So whenever we went out places and we had all our camera gear and everything else with us, cash, we locked up our bags. There was we didn't need to worry about this when I set it down here and went to the bathroom, did somebody get into it? No, they didn't, because the lock's still in the back, and it gives you peace of mind, man. We love peace of mind when traveling and trying, especially managing money and cards.
And they always have safes in the room, but again, with all the equipment and whatnot, it's just kind of bulky, and so we're not able to. It's not jewelry that we can just throw in the safe. It's a smaller safe typically. So again, I have a suitcase that has a lock on it, but Isaac's backpack that he uses does not. So we went ahead and bought those additional locks, which has worked out really well. Another tip that we had was just for hotels and Airbnb deals. We just have found when we booked this that it's just been the best to book directly through the hotel's website to get the best deals. And what we mean by that is if you book through Expedia or other companies, nothing against those companies, when you show up to the hotel, typically they won't give you an upgrade, or they won't give you any sort of a discount.
Yeah, usually when we check in
through a third party.
Yeah, usually when we check in, we're the first thing we ask is if they have any complimentary upgrades. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah,
you're doing business with them. I mean, it's the worst they can say is no, right?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they do have free upgrades.
They do.
Whether it's a better view on the same level
or a cheap upgrade.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to ask. And like she said, that's just been our experiences. Is usually the hotel managers say, you know, they would love to give us an upgrade, but unfortunately, since we use a third-party booking agency, that they can't break it goes against their terms and services for whatever reason. I used to work in a hotel, and I don't understand this stuff. It just comes down from corporate. They, you know, the person at the counter is not making the rules, so don't feel the messenger.
Exactly. This is huge. This was like our lifesaver on this trip is download offline maps, Google. Because guess what? There's a lot of places, basically everywhere, except your hotel or your Airbnb, wherever you're staying.
Next to Wi-Fi.
That has Wi-Fi, exactly. So download offline Google Maps. Again, we'll link the icon or the app that you can download for it if you don't know which one that is. That was huge for us. And then lastly, learn the basic Spanish phrases.
Yes.
And that is because the locals really do appreciate you guys taking the time to just the basic hi, thank you. Again, the basic phrases that you use day in and day out, it goes a long way with the locals.
Yes. Can I have a coffee?
Yeah.
Can I have water?
Sorry, I'm like, don't use his Spanish skills.
I'm trying, guys.
Duolingo.
I got Duolingo. I have been practicing. I swear.